great racetracks, there's historic racetracks, and then there's WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Nestled in the hills of Northern California, there's no better proving ground for anyone aiming to validate their abilities in racecraft, and no worse place to not take speed seriously. The tight hairpins, the drastic elevation changes, the legendary corkscrew turn. It's a location on any race fan's list of places they've got to see. And for the drivers of the Trans Am Series, it's their next obstacle in their path towards racing immortality. Win here and you're a legend, but get blindsided by aspirations for even a second, and being passed is just the beginning of your troubles. Who's next to tame Laguna Seca? Stay here to find out as we come to you live from Monterey, California. It's the Trans Am Series, presented by Pirelli.
All right, we are pulling out.
WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, the Monterey Bay Peninsula, central coast of California. Getting ready for our Trans Am by Pirelli TA2 category, ready to hit the 2.2-mile racetrack that winds through the valley here. There's a good look down at Fisherman's Wharf over on the bay, and a spectacular part of the country to go racing. And WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, a very challenging, tight, technical, and very exciting racetrack for the drivers and the fans. We expect a great TA2 race here today. Hi everybody, Ralph Sheheen alongside my buddy Josh Hurley as we get set for this one. Josh, as we were saying, this is a racetrack that everybody dreams about coming to. Everybody's played it on a video game and looks forward to driving the corkscrew, but it's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's a really difficult track, really technical, especially the corner after the corkscrew. Really underrated, very fast, very edgy, and that's when it's perfectly dry. Today, we have a little bit mixed conditions. It is drying, but it's going to be really slick out there to start this race.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for sure. Here's a look at our pole sitter, Rafa Matos. First pole of the year for the multi-time champ.
Yeah, first pole of the year, should be right up front for the whole day. Really, really does well in these slick conditions. And we have a great story next to him, too, with someone who struggled last race with some problems with Mike Skeen. So that front row is really, really stout. Both these guys have won championships in this series, too. So big front runners, big heavy hitters right out front.
And yesterday, early on in the day, it was like top 7 were all under the track record. So fast field of TA2 cars here this weekend. Well, this racetrack, as we have talked about throughout the course of the weekend, has a long and storied history with Trans Am, going all the way back to the very early days of the series. This track opened in 1969, and Trans Am was here when the series began. The Trans Am Series first raced at Laguna Seca back in 1969. During the golden era of muscle cars and factory-backed race teams. Legendary drivers such as Parnelli Jones and Dan Gurney competed in Trans Am events at Laguna Seca during the late 60s and early 70s, with the late great Mark Donohue winning that very first race here in a Penske Hilton Sunoco-backed Camaro. The early Trans Am races were run on Laguna Seca's original 1.9-mile configuration before the track was lengthened to 2.2 miles in 1988 so that the track could host the 500cc Grand Prix Motorcycle World Championship. After a hiatus, the Trans Am Series returned to Laguna Seca in 1983, coinciding with a resurgence of interest in the series. Laguna Seca has hosted modern Trans Am races including Trans Am, TA2, and GT classes as part of the West Coast Championship. In the 2010s, Laguna Seca became a staple of Trans Am's push to expand its presence on the West Coast, drawing local and national drivers. The track has also often hosted the historic Trans Am Exhibition Series during events like the famed Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion, showcasing original cars that raced in the series during the 1960s and 70s. The most famous corner at Laguna Seca is the legendary corkscrew. Turns 8 and 8A at the highest point on the racetrack. Coming up to a blind left-hand corner, the track suddenly almost makes a 90-degree turn to the left and then drops 4 stories down an elevator shaft to the bottom right-hander called Turn 8A. You then shoot across a short straightaway to the famed rainy curve at Turn 9. And we're getting close to Cinco de Mayo, Josh, and celebrating a little bit here at Laguna Seca as we get ready. And while they entertain the crowd along the grid, we're going to take a quick break so we can show you all the green flag racing when we return to Laguna Seca here on Speed Sport 1.
Yes! Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
There's a good look at the grid that's forming up on the pit lane. They'll be clearing the grid of all the fans and officials here momentarily, and the cars will be rolling off on the track behind the Ginetta safety car, and we'll get this race underway shortly. So while the activities continue down on the grid, let's go down there with our Ben Sissel.
Thank you so much. I'm here with the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series Fan Walk, and there are a ton of fans out here. It's a little bit cold, but we've got my friend here, Tim Lynn. I call him the Lintimidator, kind of the intimidator of the Western Series. But walk us through your new car. You've got a little tribute car here, don't you, Tim?
Yeah, this is kind of a Ken Block tribute car. I found a design company out of Germany called 811 Design that did it on a Ford GTD car, and they're kind enough to let me purchase the design from them. So that's basically what it is. You know, I want to do something patriotic as well, so the whole theme just kind of worked for me. And on the rear quarter panel there, we have a little Ken Block Forever kind of tribute. So you know, it's a Mustang, so that goes with Ken Block's, you know, Hoonicorn kind of stuff. I called this the Hoona Stang. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I just kind of came up with it, and that's it. So I think it turned out really good, and I hope we run good. It's a new Howell chassis as well. It's a new car, new livery. We're ready to go. Second race of the year.
I love it. And you've got the roof options in kind of the monster font. And then you got to get a shot of this, too, the red, white, and blue, but with the Hoona Stang. I love that. So, Tim Lynn, have fun out there. Good luck. So we'll walk up through. We're kind of midway through the grid, but we've got a lot going on. Jared Odrick over here with his black underwear, number 10. But Seamus here with Nitro. Been wanting to talk to you. Have you had a good time here out west in California, and what do you think of Laguna Seca so far?
I've had a great time. Sonoma, it was pretty crazy because of all the cautions, all the green flag running, or all the yellow flag running. But Laguna Seca is probably my favorite track I've been at so far. I haven't been to a lot of tracks in this car. I'm like brand new, so it's been a lot of fun.
Nice, I love it. And something I should point out, you notice here he's running the yellow on the windshield. That means he's running Western. So he's running for the Western Series here. Then we come over here, Boris said Jr., who's running the National. He's got the blue, and the Pro-Am is a little bit more of like a kind of like a greenish. But Boris said at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, how's it feel?
It's my first time here, so it's an interesting track. I like it so far. And yeah, I do wish we got a little bit more practice, but I think the race will be good.
Nice. Are you getting some good advice from your dad? Because your dad's had a lot of laps here.
Yeah, I know. He's helped me out a lot. On Thursday, we came and did some laps around the track, and that helped quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good luck out there. HendrickCars.com, Boris said Jr. Then we're going to come up through here. He's in a Camry, Boris said Jr. is. We've got Tim Carroll over here with CRD Manufacturing in the orange, running in the Western. Caleb Schrader here with Dig Motorsports. So you were here last year doing really well in the race, and then you were kind of assisted off the track. And so a little bit of redemption here this year.
Yeah, so last year an axle flew out when I was running third, which sucks because obviously it was my first race ever doing this. And then now I'm starting 16th overall, 7th in West, but we'll just keep moving forward, and hopefully I can fight these power steering bugs.
Nice. A little bit of power steering bugs. That's good to know. Did you guys hear that up in the booth? So watch for Schrader in the 66 to move up through. Kyle Kelly, also one of our fast Western racers. We spoke to him a little bit at Sonoma. Michael LaPaglia also running in Western here with the Pepini's Garage Fast Auto Racing. Brand new Howe chassis for this car. Even though it looks like last year's championship car, brand new chassis. Mia Lovell doing what she does best, signing autographs. And I love this graphic here because she is a professional skateboarder, Mia Lovell, but she's a professional race car driver. If you don't mind, I'll come in here. How is Laguna Seca to Mia Lovell?
Man, this track is so much fun. I mean, it's got really like some of the best rhythm in America. I think the corners are so fun. You really got to carry your momentum and speed, and God, just driving through the corkscrew is such a dream. You know, it's so much fun here.
And it's crazy. We try to say that TV simulators, they don't do the corkscrew justice. You just have to do it.
Oh yeah, no, the corkscrew is no joke. I mean, you're completely blind, and you're looking at the trees and, you know, hoping that you make it through right. So it's really fun. Such a thrill.
Good luck out there, Mia Lovell, signing autographs as she should. But then we're going to get some insight. Thomas Merrill, he can hear the track from his house. This is like his home track. Grew up racing here. You're at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. I've seen you start from worse here and win the race, but how happy are you right now with this position?
Not great. I think we should have been in the top 5 yesterday. I made a little boo-boo in qualifying, but the Cope crew did a great job of putting the HP Tuners car back together. Like you said, we've started from worse here and been okay, so theoretically we can get the job done, but there's a lot more competitive drivers in the field today, so it should be a good race either way.
Nice. I love it. Well, hold on. I like getting awkward. We're going to get awkward with the Merrills here. Ross is trying to hide already. Who took Thomas out the first time in a race car?
I did.
It was a Porsche, and he was kind of hanging on for dear life. Was that here at Laguna Seca?
It was. It was here at Laguna.
Nice.
Yeah.
So truly a family legacy in racing. You've been racing with us in SVRA this weekend, and Laguna Seca making so many great improvements. Thank you guys so much for all of your hard work.
Well, thank you for showing up and bringing the National Series here. It's a rare treat to watch Thomas race at home. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Nice. Well, I love it. So the Merrills out here, thanks for joining us again. But Thomas Merrill, look for him to move up. Adrian Lostowski here with Fast Auto Racing doing really, really well. CMIproducts.com. Then we've got Julian DaCosta. Look, I see him by his car. So Julian, welcome to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. How is it out there so far?
It's a fun track. It's probably one of the coolest in America. All the elevation and obviously the famous corkscrew. It's great. We didn't qualify exactly where we wanted to. We're dealing with some issues, but we think we got it sorted, and I'm really excited. I think it should be a really good race, and I'm looking forward to heading up that way.
I love it. I love it. Well, Julian DaCosta, get ready to go. Now, you can see he's got some real estate here for some sponsorship, so if you want to have some fun, look up Julian DaCosta. Sam Corey's kind of in the same situation. Brody Goebel, 2 years ago, was our Western champion. And he is starting up front, the farthest in the Western Series. But also right next to him in the Western Series, Barry Bowes running Pro-Am and Western. So watch out for him. Then we're going to move up to the front. We've got just a few minutes. Brent Cruz. I was giving Brent Cruz a hard time last night at dinner because he doesn't drive down the corkscrew. His car more kind of falls down the corkscrew, and he kind of admitted he's not quite sure what he's doing out there on the corkscrew, which should be really fun. Then again, Sam Corey. Look at all this real estate, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Corey's looking for some help to continue on in the season, but doing really well. How's it going so far?
So far, so good. We start P5 today, so decent run in qualifying. So now we got to go do some work out there today and try and get to the front and get a win.
Nice. I love it that he's wearing the Stilo here on the hood, getting ready to go out there. Then we're going to try to make our way to the front. We've got Tristan McKee here running with the Chevrolet Gainbridge car, running 128 this weekend. Then across me, we see Thomas Annunziata, who's doing very, very well in the points. He did have a little bit of an off at turn 5 yesterday into the tire wall. They were able to get him out, but you can see here the Nitro team has worked really hard to tape that up. So we'll look for that car. Then we come over here. I know I speak so much about all of the young guns and everything, but we've got 2 veterans, the most winning driver in TA2 ever, and many championships under him is Rafa Matos there in pole. And then Mike Skeen right behind him. Let's come over talk to the Concord American flagpole driver of Rafa, who's had some very good finishes here. He's won. He's gotten a second behind Mike Skeen. We keep talking about these young guns, but we can't forget about these veterans out here fighting every race. How's it going, Rafa?
All good, all good. A great qualifying yesterday. Super proud of the Concord American flagpole silver hair race car. Looking forward to have a great race today, collect some good points. You know, we're definitely alive in the hunt for the championship, so hopefully we'll grab that win that we're looking for and, you know, go back to the East Coast happy.
Nice. I love it. Well, let's get a shot of this, the Cube 3 Architecture Pole Award. Nice job, Rafa. I'm going to send it back to you gentlemen up in the booth.
All right, man, great. Thanks for the killer grid walk, and it's great to see these drivers up close, Josh, and meet them, see the helmets off, the visors up, get a look into their eyes and see who these guys are. Really interesting group of young, very fast, talented racers, and 2 veterans at the front of the field that are going to show these young bucks the way around.
That's what makes this series so much fun, both in the cars and on the other side of the wall back here watching, is the mix of drivers. The young guys, really aggressive, learning their craft, are very fast, prone to a few more mistakes sometimes, and then the veterans, not very prone to mistakes, but maybe don't necessarily want it quite as much as you do when you're 16 and trying to work your way up. So it makes for an interesting blend. You get to see some racecraft that's really smart versus some racecraft that maybe is a little over-aggressive, and it makes it so much fun to watch, especially with these cars on these little tires sliding around.
Well, that's why Ben does the grid walk to introduce you to the competition, but he also put together a little piece to take you a little bit deeper into the field of drivers.
The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series is absolutely loaded with talent. We keep adding drivers to the talent pool year after year. We've got the young guns, the up-and-comers, but also the seasoned veterans, and then there's all kinds of drivers in between. Thomas Annunziata, absolutely fast, debuted that Toyota Camry at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta and has just been taking off with Nitro Motorsports in that Toyota Camry. Then you've got 14-year-old Tristan McKee with Spire Gainbridge running the SLR M1 Chevrolet Camaro in the Chevy Development Program, one of my favorites to win the Young Guns this year. The most winning driver in TA2 history is Rafa Matos, and he is coming with all kinds of experience. He's been with Three Dimensional Services Group team. He's been with Nitro Motorsports, who he won the championship with last year, but he's back with Silverhair. Silverhair doesn't have a championship yet, but Rafa Matos wants to win one more championship for Silverhair. Julian DaCosta, really great driver, comes from the MX-5 Cup Series, but he drives one of these TA2 cars like a momentum car of the MX-5, and he is very fast, very talented. Look for him to have many more podiums this season. Then we got to talk about the 2021 champion,
Mike Skeen, one of the smoothest TA2 drivers in history. So look for him to be back on top. But also, Mia Lovell is here to break a lot of hearts. She is very fast. She is a professional athlete as a professional skateboarder, and she is going to go very far in race car. Like I said, a ton of talent in the TA2 series. I can't wait to see how the young guns fare out in their careers. We know that we're going to be bragging about knowing some of these drivers, but also the seasoned veterans.
Well, you can see it is a good look and feel of the drivers. Very fast, very competitive, wily old veterans, young aggressive racers. It's going to make for a good shootout here this afternoon on the twisting, turning Laguna Seca circuit. Well, we're just about ready to go, so let's wrap up our pre-race activities down on the grid. Here's Ben once again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're joined maybe for the third year in a row, Reverend Blaine Bowers, to deliver the invocation. If you'll bow your heads and remove your hats, please. Blaine, take it away.
Thank you. Let's have reverence before the Lord. Heavenly Father, at this time, I would like to thank you for this race and for this beautiful day that you've given us. Any day that we wake up and we have life and we have breath in our lungs is a beautiful day. Every problem that we have, we can lay it before you and know that it will be in your hands. I pray this day for safety for all of our drivers and that we would have a wonderful time, but mostly that your peace would rest upon every heart that is here. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Blaine, thank you so much. If we can get a shot here of the Defense Foreign Language Institute, Presidio of Monterey, our color guard this afternoon, and Angela Hughes to come in here. You'll have to take this mic as well, Angela. Thank you, to deliver the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nicely done. And we are just about ready to go racing here at Laguna Seca. So how do you drive the 2.2-mile circuit? Our Andy Lally, the president of Trans Am, took us for a lap.
All right, we are pulling out of pit lane onto the world-famous WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. You actually exit pit lane exiting turn 2. You skip the inside of turn 1 and 2 as you come through, and you are immediately right onto the race line as you enter 3. This is one of the coolest looking tracks visually on the planet with some really exciting moments. You know, people talk about how amazing the corkscrew is, but in reality, it's the corner after it that's one of the most thrilling corners out here. Getting ready to start a lap at Laguna Seca here. It's a bit of an uphill climb out of the last corner to the start-finish line, and there is a slight kink around the corner that these Trans Am cars are going to be going well over 150 miles an hour as they crest the hill, get light right here. We can see we're parallel with the pit lane exit here. We're coming into turn 1 here. We're approaching our Mission Foods turn 2. We're just going to apex the inside here, but get it to the outside and straighten up as much as we can. There's huge load on the right front tire as you're coming in here, and very easy to lock up that inside left front tire. This is a double apex turn 2, where we're going to bring it down, release that brake, let it rotate, pause, patience, patience, patience. Let the nose point so we can get the power one time, uninterrupted throttle. We tag that second apex, get on the power, and come out of the corner as quick as we can here. Hustle it back hard to the left side for turn 3. Just get the platform straight, light brake, turn it in early again, finding the backside of this curb. This is one of those corners where you get in early and then you try to hold the bottom for that extra car and a half. As we approach turn 4, it's very, very similar to 3, but just 20 miles an hour faster. We've got a quick approach, early turn in, hold the apex for a car and a half, let it all the way out. Treacherous exit here if you get it wrong. Really easy to snap hook it back to the inside and try to stay off that tire wall. Exit, straighten up, grab a gear, and we're heading up to turn 6. Probably one of the most challenging corners on this track. We've got some pretty basic markers here. My reference is usually the bridge in almost anything we're in. You up the hill, dip, compress, get back on that power, and fly out of what is probably just under a 90-degree corner. Again, you're swinging it back over to the left side as we prepare for the corkscrew. We want to straddle these curbs and straighten out our brake zone as much as possible. We're in the middle of our downshifts in the brakes. We're cresting a hill. The inside left front's going to get tight, and we turn in a huge amount of steering. Quick left, pause, quick right, drop 2-3 stories down the hill. Exiting, we get a lot of grip under compression as we exit the corkscrew, bring it back to the right, and now here's the most challenging corner on the course. Turn 9 at Laguna Seca. Early in, pick up some compression and some camber, get to power, bring it out, again, hustle it back to the left. Your wheel's barely ever straight here. Just for a millisecond, you get the platform sorted out, and you turn into a downhill entry, turn 10. Bring it back over to the right again. Hard on the brakes just before the 3 marker. We're straightening it out. We know we've got a little dip and a little bit too much bump at the apex of 11, so we're gonna wait, compress, get on that power, and use all this extra run out here to finish this lap and come up to our start-finish line again. And that's a lap at the amazing Laguna Seca Raceway.
Such a cool track, such a great venue, and it's time to go racing. So let's crank up the engines, Ben.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. How about this? The Folklorio dancers here. So great. They put on such a great show. Then my friend Juan Gonzalez with Mission Foods. But Juan, first, before we get to the start command, you have one of your friends joining us with Make-A-Wish with Robert Accardo Jr. So tell us about your friend here.
Well, this is my new friend, and I call him my cara amigo, okay? And his name is Ezequiel. He's from Watsonville, California.
That's amazing. And so great to have Make-A-Wish here. We absolutely love it. We will continue doing this. Ezequiel, I hope you have such a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. But Juan Gonzalez racing here with us this weekend, doing so well with Mission Foods. Everybody on our paddocks absolutely loves the Mission Foods chips. So thank you so much for joining us out here with that. Too fast, too tasty. Tell us how we can get these things.
Well, first of all, thank you for being here, and I wish luck to all the drivers today and tomorrow.
All right, well, we got about 40 seconds.
Okay,
so where can we get some Mission Foods and chips?
Well, great again. It's great to be partners of Laguna Seca and SBR8, and be one more time, supporting the Trans Am Group, Formula 4, and SBR8, and all the IGT guys. So I get to race with IGT, so I just hope for a better weather.
I love it, yeah. Yeah, we're looking for a little bit better weather, but how about these folkloreo dancers that were with us too? Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Well, they look beautiful. I'm sure they work very hard, and I forgot to bring my sombrero so I can dance with you, girls. So next time I'll bring it.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a real treat. Juan Gonzalez, CEO of Mission Foods, to deliver us our start command. Juan, take it away.
Drivers, eat more Mission tacos. There you go.
When we come back on Speed Sport 1, we will be live and ready to go racing here in Laguna Seca.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, Lagarde, Miller, Lagarde.
And Speed Sport 1 back live here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. The drone following the field of our Cube 3 architecture TA2 cars as they go from turn 4 over to turn 5. Where you make the left and then begin the climb up the hill. And Josh, as you can see, there's still some wet spots out there.
There is. It's going to be really difficult to pass in these opening laps because those wet spots are all offline, but a definite dry line for you to start your race. Going to make that 2x2 start really interesting when they get to that Mission Foods hairpin.
This will be round 4 of the championship for 2025. Let's take you back to round 1, show you how we got here. Sebring kicking things off. There goes Rafa Matos as he got together with Skeen, wasn't it?
It was with Skeen, and those two are your front row again, so we might see some fireworks out of those two today.
And it was a great day for Thomas Annunziata as he ended up taking the win. And we went on to Road Atlanta for round number 2. This one got underway at the front of the field. Great competition, hard fight day. Annunziata once again at the front of the field, and you dip a wheel there, kick out that Georgia red clay into your buddy's face.
Yeah, you always do that there. That turn, it's blind. And then you have your last turn, very scary, very fast. Always a heart and throat moment when someone makes a mistake in front of you there.
Tristan McKee getting off the line there, did a great job of saving it. Big, scary moment right there, too.
Exactly, but it was the brand new Toyota bodies taking the win with Annunziata grabbing a first win of the season for him, or second win, pardon me.
First two races in a row going to Thomas, as well as the points lead, and then it was on to a wet Sonoma Raceway just a weekend ago.
once again, you see Annunziata featuring right at the front, this time with Brent Cruz in front of him.
Pretty good sized crash right on the front straightaway, headed over to turn number 1. Taking a couple of cars out. These three guys here really fought hard. Cruz and Annunziata and Tristan McKee. All young, all very fast, all looking to be champion. Thomas Annunziata had problems. He went out, thought he was going to be able to get back in the car and maybe get a few points, but then the rain came and that pretty much, pardon the pun, washed out the finish of the race, and Thomas got nothing else out of it.
But it made a great points day for Rafa Matos and Tristan McKee, who are again both starting up front today.
And Brent Cruz at the top. Finally, it's been a bit of a frustrating start to the season for him. He's been very fast, just hasn't been able to put it all together till last weekend in TA2. All right, let's take a look at our track map here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We went for the ride with Andy Lally earlier. There's a look at that kink at turn 1. Then it's down to Mission Foods, turn number 2, the Andretti hairpin here.
This is where you're going to see people muscle out each other out of the way for those passes.
Got to get through 3 and 4. Good passing opportunities. You get to 5 at the Cube 3 Architecture, turn 5, up to 6, and that never-ending climb all the way up to the top of the hill here. Mission Foods turns 8 and 8A, the world-famous corkscrew. Drop 4 stories down to the bottom at 8A, and then set yourself up for rainy here at 9, which is very tricky.
Very tricky, off camber, bumpy, and very fast. And then your last passing opportunity right here in Summit Racing Equipment, turn 11, for the run down to the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's a really cool track, very different, really not like anything else in the country. I mean, if there's anywhere that's even remotely similar, it'd be maybe Lime Rock.
Exactly, except here, nowhere has a view like here. You can see from the fans, if you've never been here, not only is the corkscrew a famous corner, it is one of the best views in all of motorsport. You can see most of the track on a clear day. You can even see the ocean. Just an absolutely beautiful venue to go racing in.
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun. It has a great vibe to it. Fans get super stoked for it. The racers get just as pumped. It is a wonderful place to experience. And a little bit of fog making its way back up to the top of the hill at the corkscrew. As you take a look at our starting lineup for our Cube 3 Architecture TA2 race, Rafa Matos and Mike Skeen on that front row. Then it's Tristan McKee and Thomas Annunziata behind them. Sam Corey and last week's winner, Brent Cruz in 6. Brody Goebel, Barry Bowes, Julian DaCosta, and Adrian Vostovsky rounding out the top 10. Mia Lovell's been quick all weekend. She's going to start in 11th with Thomas Merrill alongside her. Michael LaPaglia, who used to be a Supercross motocross racer, called a bunch of his Supercross races.
Well, hopefully the car stays on the ground a little more than in those.
Yeah, if there's a whoop section, he's got it figured out. Don't worry about him. Taking a look back through the field, you see Boris Said Jr. back there in 18th, Jared Odrick back in 19th, and Tim Lynn in 20th. It's an impressive field as we take a look all the way back here to 30th place and J.C. Maynard. Here we go. Rafa Matos leading the field down to Summit Racing Equipment, turn number 11, about to get this one underway. Cube 3 Architecture, TA2, live on Speed Sport 1, waiting for the green flag. Watching the starter. There we go. Green flag. We're racing at Laguna.
And really watch for Thomas Merrill on the start.
3 wide, headed to turn number 1. They finally get themselves spaced out 2 by 2.
Watch Merrill go around the outside. He did this before in 2019. He started last and won the race by passing a ton of cars on the outside.
Oh, he
but
spun
went
around. He was 3 wide going through Mission Foods turn number 2. 3 wide again. You see McKee in there. Skeen gets shuffled back 4 spots or so. Matos is out front, then it's McKee, then it's Annunziata, and the battle is now headed over to turn number 5.
And we saw this before with Mike Skeen at Sebring. This Guthrie's car seems to take a few laps to build tire temperature. They seem to struggle with heating more than some of the others, so he has to struggle for these first couple laps before he comes on strong a little bit later.
I looked like there might have been a damaged hood on Mia Lovell's car. thought I saw a glimpse of her go by just to the right there.
And 3 wide again down the back straightaway.
Headed up the Rahal straightaway. See if we get a look at, oh, we're not going to see Mia's car there. Oh, and the 28 is around.
That's JC Maynard, I believe.
Yep, sure is, out of Woodland Hills, California, and he's sitting on the way up to turn number 6. And if he doesn't get that thing moving pretty soon, that's going to bring out a safety car in a yellow.
He did get started, so I think he'll get it moving in time. Rafa really jumping out to a lead for Matos there.
Here comes Mia's car. Just can't get a good look at it.
And now we can see Skeen beginning to apply some pressure to Nunziata. Now that those tires have come up to temp.
I did get a look at Mia's car. She went by us here in our broadcast position, and yeah, there is damage to the hood of her car, number 40. And I'm not sure who she got together with, the driver out of Phoenix, Arizona, and the Nitro Motorsports Toyota Camry. And that crew has done an amazing job of getting the cars together for Mia. I thought he was struggling to get that car rolling. He fired it up, as you mentioned, Josh, but he just couldn't seem to get it in gear to roll.
That's a shame, but that means we get to pack this field up once again. We saw that start was pretty spicy here. Though probably not what Mike Skeen wanted to see. It looked like his car had just come up to temp and started running. He just started pressuring Nunziata right when we went to yellow.
See what happened to the 28. Oh, there it is.
Oh, does he get the bridge too? Yes,
oh, yeah,
he
he did. That's an odd spot. Oh, yeah, a spinner up the top of 6, too. That's an odd spot for contact in an incident like that, but they were so tight, and everybody's fighting to get down to the bottom to get into 6.
Yeah, you're trying to get in line there because that kink in 6 is so one line that you really try to be single file there, and that's just what happens when you don't quite get in single file and get that wrong. Something else we do want to see right now, if you pay attention, the top 3 are also 3 different chassis. You have a Howe, a Mike Cope chassis, and then an SLR.
Scott Legacy Racing, the SLR chassis. All right, we will be right back. After they get the 28 out of the way, we'll be back to green here on Speed Sport 1 from Laguna Seca.
In racing, every second counts. Communication isn't just important, it's everything. Established in 1996 in Daytona Beach, Florida, SpeedCom Communications was born from a passion for racing and a vision to revolutionize motorsports communication. Trusted by competitors across the world.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
Good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds. The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
field is rolling behind our Janetta safety car here at Laguna Seca as we are still clearing up the incident at the entrance to turn number 6. A couple of cars have visited pit lane. We're getting a report that Mia Lovell has taken the 40 back to the paddock. That hood getting pushed up on her car. Not sure where the contact came on that opening lap. That's a shame because that was a brand new race car. The Nitro guys have worked very hard to get that car prepared and ready to go. In fact, they got it to Sonoma just in time to get it on the racetrack. They had one guy loaded up in a trailer. The first day he drove 36 hours to get it out as far as he could to Colorado, I guess, and then he made the rest of the drive the next day and delivered the car on time. And she kept that car good and clean through Sonoma. The team was very happy coming to Laguna that they didn't have any body work to do or any damage repair to fix, which unfortunately for some of our other TA2 and TA competitors, there was a lot of work to be done. But Mia's car was in great shape, and then something happened here, maybe over there in Mission Foods Turn 2 in that opening melee down there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people trying to make some time, and while a lot of people think that's over-aggressive, this track is a little difficult to pass. This field is very close. Those starts and restarts are the time to make something happen, so you can't blame people for pushing. That's when you have to make it happen.
Sometimes you're not the problem. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? I mean, there was a lot going on down there, and sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It's just you're in bad position. There you can see the damage to the nose of that Nitro Racing number 40. I mean, it looks like she's still sitting in the car, or is that just her helmet sitting there?
That looks like she's still in there. I'm trying to see if maybe they're trying to see how damaged the radiator is.
She's still there.
That's usually what stops you from going back out. The front is usually pretty sturdy as far as the chassis goes, but it punches the hole in that radiator. And yeah, until you fix that, you're not going anywhere because you don't want to overheat and hurt one of these engines.
It's like she took the steering wheel off now and is loosening the belts up a little bit. That's a shame. The young lady racer out of Phoenix, Arizona, 18 years of age. Yeah, it got center punched pretty good in the nose there, didn't it?
Yeah, that's a good sign of the whole field stacking up in front of you and just nowhere to go. Happens pretty often. You actually, some really important thing to learn that you can learn in this series is judging how aggressive to be on the start, because it's weirdly, you are more likely for that to happen if you're laying back and trying to be safe, because then the cars can build up more velocity. If you're right against that person in front of you, if they just slow down, you're already touching them. It doesn't tend to hit hard enough to punch through the rad. So learning that balance of how close to be and how aggressive you have to be to actually defend yourself is really important to learn. And she is a rookie in this series, and that's one of the things you see.
I mean,
as you can see, they're still working to get JC's car up on the hook there. Hitting that bridge is definitely not very fun, so probably doesn't roll too well. That's why you see him getting up on that rollback. And I think he's had the worst West Coast swing, poor guy. He got caught up in a melee as well at the straightaway at Sonoma.
Well, while they continue to get JC's car up on the rollback, we're going to take care of some more business, knock these commercial breaks out, and we will be right back to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. You're watching it all live on Speed Sport 1.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance. Priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
And we're back here at WeatherTech Laguna Seca. We're going to throw it down to Ben Sissel, who's in the garage with Mia Lovell, to see what happened with her incident.
Spoke just a couple of minutes ago, and it's now a totally different situation. I saw you come down the corkscrew pretty bent up. What happened out there?
Yeah, on the initial start, I was up on the wheel ready to go, and when the green flag dropped, I was on the hammer, but the car in front of me didn't get a good launch, or maybe wasn't ready, and just ran into the back of them. So it pushed our radiator in, and we're done for the day.
Done for the day. That stinks me. I'm so sorry about that. You can see here Joe and the team, they're trying to make everything work, but you can see the air cleaner out here and the radiator's pushed in, so nothing they can do. They're basically just packing it up, getting it ready to go back on the truck. I see they're coming down to you guys. I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth right now.
Yeah, and that's a shame too, Ben, because they're scheduled to go test at Portland this week. So they were headed straight there from here, and now it looks like they're going to go get a little work done before they get up to the Pacific Northwest.
The nice thing is the radiators in these are pretty quick to swap out, so they should have that ready to go testing and get some laps done for her to prepare for the next West Coast round.
Yeah. Might have spun the tires up a little bit, the car in front of her.
Or another thing happens a lot too. Remember, not many racing cars have age patterns anymore. Misshift really can cause that really quickly.
Yeah. Easy to do.
It's very easy to do, despite the fact that these gearboxes are absolutely incredible. They're amazing. But new drivers coming to the start, sometimes their first time out here, really easy to miss that shift, make a mistake, and that's what happens. Someone gets into the back of you and pushes your radiator in. It looks like I saw JC Maynard's car being towed in here out of our window, so hopefully we should be going green the next lap or so.
Spotted some damage on the HendrickCars.com entry of Boris said Jr. on the right front, so he must have had some body contact somewhere. I did want to ask you, Josh, we heard Ben talking to some of the drivers before the start of the race, and Thomas Annunziata had mentioned to him how he actually kind of floats down through the corkscrew. I'm trying to remember the exact term that he used. Slides down, if you will. It's a little bit of a different line. Is that one you would encourage?
See, I really like to get it pretty parked there and aimed, and then you can't even see it. I jump down the corkscrew. You kind of come over the little hump, and then when it lands, you get all this grip from the force of gravity, the car being pushed into that track, and you can really get on the power. It's kind of a more brutal corner than what people think. People imagine that plunge feels like you're falling off the building, but it really doesn't. You just kind of get it aimed straight. LaPaglia probably will feel really good in it. It's kind of like a motocross corner.
Yeah.
You come up over the hump, and then when it lands, you have all that grip to get on the pipe, and then you have to hustle it over to really get it set up for a rainy.
Well, I've been around it on a Ducati World Superbike weekend here, and I can tell you on a motorcycle, when you tilt it into the left, just as you're about to go back to the right is right where you're cresting over the hill, and you feel your stomach definitely go as you go from the left to the right, trying to get to the bottom at 8A.
Yeah, for us, you get that little break of straight hands for a beat,
yeah,
and that's when it lands.
Ain't nothing straight on there on a motorcycle, I can promise you that. All right, here comes Rafa leading them down into turn 11. The Summit Racing Equipment, turn 11. The Ginetta safety car is off course. We are ready to go back to green. keeping an eye on a starter across from us here in our broadcast position. And we're back to green here on Speed Sport 1.
And it already looks like Sheheen is taking a peek under Annunziata. Can he get there?
He tries to make a bold move down here in turn number 2. Mission Foods turn 2. A little too wide racing, a little deeper in the field as that Cruz. Trying to make something happen on the outside in a fight for 4th.
That's Cruz to the inside of Corey. Great view from Latowski right here of that front battle. You can see him up ahead, a few cars side by side.
See Tristan McKee just ahead.
And it looks like Corey got pushed off to the left. So may give Latowski a run. Corey losing 2 or 3 spots from that.
Sam Corey is in that black number 70 just in front here as we are on board with Adrian Vostovsky.
Really got to fight to put the power down because you're driving uphill, so any acceleration you can get helps. It is a steep hill. Try biking up it.
Yeah, and here's where everybody tries to get to the bottom at 6. Oh, somebody dipping a wheel off here on the far right as they head up Rahal. Oh, and it gets narrow up there in a hurry, and that's the 20.
That does look like the 20.
That would be Seamus McKendry.
And he's back running and rejoining, so he should be able to stay green.
So McKendry will tag the tail end of the field.
Battle for second. Sheheen going around the outside of Annunziata, trying to cross over and get a better run out of the corner. It looks like he gets there. Annunziata kind of chopping the nose there.
Yeah, boy, Thomas used up all the racetrack on the far right. Sheheen now comes to the outside as we head to 2.
And you can definitely make a pass around the outside of 2 because you can hold them way inside and it sets you up for 3. Not quite able to do it this time, but he's putting a lot of pressure on him.
He sure is.
And
now he's going to dive inside, headed to 3. They're side by side right at the apex of the corner. Looked like a little contact there, and Sheheen's going to come out with a position. Then Tristan McKee is going to slide by as well and slot Annunziata back 2 positions just in front of the 10, which is Cruz.
And that's what's going to happen when you race with these veterans. If you chop one of their nose off, which Thomas kind of did a little bit as a really aggressive defense, you're going to make that guy behind you not happy. And he's not going to be afraid to push you wide in the corner.
Now back up the Rahal straight. On board with Barry Bowes here.
Barry Bowes, I believe your current Pro-Am leader. Really challenging out here with against all these professionals. Works really hard at his craft.
On board, headed to the course crew. You can see how blind it is, and there goes the world falling away as you drop downhill 4 stories to the bottom and then sweep through Rainey.
Rainey, cars on a delicate edge. There he goes, full power. In this corner, a lot of compression too. Very physical corner. A lot of G from that compression.
Yeah, turn 10, very much so. Now you get hard on the brakes down here. Summon Race Equipment, turn number 11. Get ready for the little dip right there at the center at the apex.
And
let
that corner,
baby eat all the way to the outside, and you're hard on that throttle.
And that corner takes so much patience. It's so much slower than it looks, and it already looks very slow. You just have to go even slower than that. You really have to park the car to get that good exit. Down to
Here's that double apexer at Mission Foods, turn number 2, the Andretti hairpin.
Maybe a touch patient on exit, and maybe next time we'll get a little bit better of a run. There you go, floated nice speed through there.
So easy to get that corner wrong and get on the gas too soon.
Exactly. It's both of these really easy to come off that inside curb too soon. You really have to wrap both of them around.
And as we heard from Andy Lally when he gave the lap around in the pace car, when you get offline there at 4 coming to the outside, you can dip a wheel off there very easily on the outside at 4, and that can cause all kinds of problems. Just the same thing here at 6.
Yeah, everyone this weekend is really thankful for the extra curbing. I remember when we first raced here, the road ended where the curb was. You have a lot more room to play in that turn 6 and even turn 5 than you used to.
As you can see, there's really nowhere where you're straight on this racetrack. You're always fighting to get back to the other side to get ready for the next corner in the opposite direction.
Exactly. It makes it really, really physical. And we can see here Annunziata trying to make his little comeback charge on Tristan McKee.
Watching McKee in the 128, the Gamebridge car. Tristan McKee out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, on that Spire Gamebridge. Scott Lagasse Racing M1 Chevrolet Camaro.
And if I recall, he's working really hard with Chevrolet. I think part of that whole Josh Wise, Scott Speed program to bring up these young Chevy drivers. Doing a good job in the Cars Tour late models and Pro late models, too. Really getting that rounded stock car experience. You'll probably be seeing him doing battle on Sunday in the Cup Series one of these days.
Well, if you want to be the fountain of racing greatness as far as drinking out of it, being in Kannapolis, North Carolina, is a pretty good spot to be from, right?
Yeah, I think there was a pretty good driver there who drove a black car at number 3 right from Kannapolis, just like him. Though he is coming under some pressure from Annunziata right now. Wow, Brent Cruz looks like he might be struggling a little bit with the rear tires on his car. He's come really wide out of Rainey, out of the corner of their screen. And Annunziata, his goal has got to be to get power down so we can get behind and get to this fender of Tristan McKee.
Thomas Annunziata right there in the 90, right behind McKee. Thomas a couple of years older than Tristan, and then you got Brent Cruz right behind them in the 10. And you talk about McKee being racing on Sundays. These might be the two guys he has to battle with to get on the podium on Sundays.
I think so, as long as, and as well as Trans Am alumni Connor Zilic. I think this young crop is one you're really going to be seeing in those stock cars for a long time. Brent Cruz having a heck of a time running not only here, but in ARCA. And here we go, on board with Witowski again, kind of having some clear air, which is a nice moment here. Get a moment to kind of save your tire while keep up the lap time, maybe hope for a yellow to pack you back up. Everyone's doing their fastest lap right now, so we're kind of getting to that time where the cars feel at their best.
Yeah, my tires should be good for sure by now. I should have burned off a little bit of fuel, and I found my rhythm as a driver, right?
Exactly. Plus, field's strung out a little bit. Some of you have more clear air. You're in your rhythm. You're hitting your marks. Kind of saving a little bit of tire from case if you have that clear air and you're not in an imminent battle, trying to be really efficient with those lap times.
Saw Kelly go through there in the number 80. That car is currently running in 12th. Kyle Kelly out of Huntington Beach, California, the UPR.com PKK Motorsports Ford Mustang. There's a good look at the 27 of Bose.
And a 17 around in the corkscrew.
Yep. That's Tim Lynn out of Kentfield, California. That Roof Options Ford Mustang, painted up in a Ken Block style livery. John Schweitzer goes by out of Fife, Washington in the 00. Oh, he just lost it on his own. It's like he was on the gas a little too soon.
Yeah, either that or might see is that last downshift to first can sometimes get some wheel hop and get some of that action going.
Yeah, sure can. You're right about that. Under the new Tire Rack sponsored bridge here at Laguna Seca, that announcement being made earlier this week. First pictures popping up on the internet of that new bridge. There goes the 27. Again, that's Bose out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Your first Pro-Am car, and Brody Goebel right now is also your first Western car. He had a great run at Sonoma, kind of flew under the radar. He started dead last and finished 9th. And for those of you tuned in, we didn't get many green flag laps, so to pass that many people on starts and restarts is a really good run.
Yeah, he's out of Surrey, BC, Canada, in that Brown Brothers Ford Lincoln Ford Mustang.
It looks like LaPaglia saw the corner of my eye in a pretty pitched battle with Carroll there.
Oh, on the pit lane is the 98 machine. Stein Frederick out of Norway having some issues in his Team Trisel.com Chevy Camaro. It's like something amiss in the engine.
And in case
here's those young 3 drivers again as we jump on board with Vostovsky for a minute. And Adrian's running in about 7th. I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about these top 3 young guys that we're watching, McKee and Annunziata and Brent Cruz. What do you like about each one of them, talent-wise, that you've seen as a driver coach that really makes you think that's why this kid stands out?
So Brent Cruz I can go to immediately because I got to race a lot door-to-door with him in one long race last year in this series. And you can see his dirt car experience come out. He and I were the only ones as we were looking around for alternative lines as the track changed and the track degraded, and he's very good at that. He even has a golden driller from the Tulsa shootout, so really not playing there. That skill really serves him well. Also incredibly mature for his young age. Tristan, what I see a lot of out of him is his oval ability and starting to come, his road course ability starting to come. You see Tristan in those Pro late model Cars Tour cars and the full Cars Tour series really running well, especially at the age of 14. Something that if you look at NASCAR racing analytics, what they found is that the younger you are when you start establishing your results, the better, the higher end your total ability is. So he power is.
Great move by there. Tom talking as we have another one off into the dirt here.
And there must be something wrong. That looks like a broken axle,
Yeah.
maybe one-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's the 20 having issues there. That's McKendry again. And that might bring out a safety car where he's positioned, but we saw Sheheen earlier spinning over there at the corkscrew. Now, is that the Guthrie car now having problems?
That is, yes, that is the
39, sure is.
39 having some problems.
That's a cardio out of Livermore, California, over in the Bay Area. Anyway, I was going to say, he stayed off the brake and let that car roll down and out of the way. He just steered it so it went off track, drivers left, and kept the lane open for everybody coming into the corner, which is huge because it's so blind there they wouldn't have seen it.
Exactly, and it lets him have a great eye on the corner worker, so when the corner worker says he's good to go, he's good to go. And here we can see Seamus looks like losing it a little bit under braking for the kink. Got it sideways.
And off into the dirt at 6.
Just getting the photographer a little dirty out there. It looks like he's got it underway.
And on up the Rahal Straight.
But it looks like we still went under full course. There might be something else out there.
Well, it might just be the fact that there was 3 incidents all pretty quick. They want to check track, make sure the surface is all right. We don't have any fluids laying around anywhere.
But that's great for us. That's going to pack this field back up, make this show a little bit more of a fight down to that Andretti hairpin, that Mission Foods hairpin. Oh, and we see all the gravel pulling out. So here's something we have to teach new drivers when they come to the series. You want to make sure to give that car a shake before we get all that gravel on the course.
Well, while they pull out the full course caution, we're going to go ahead and take care of some more business and take a break here. But Speed Sport 1 will be right back to Laguna. You won't miss a lap of green flag racing here on Speed Sport 1.
Architecture is about everything. We change the environment. We are changing how people live in the environment today. So we basically put our fingerprint on the future of what the United States looks like. My overall business philosophy is that I'm engaged with my company from top to bottom. And I think the racing world and helping out the next generation and younger drivers is a passion of mine. And it's getting stronger and stronger every year. With that, that's why I want to be involved.
The drone is flying high above here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and down on the track surface on the pit lane is our Ben Sissel.
Yeah, I'm with Laura Hull, owner of Silver Hair Racing. But this weekend with the Kentucky Derby, I want to brag on my friend Laura Hull, who is a world champion, quarter horse shows. You compete with horses all over the place, and when you find time, you come out to the racetrack. But how is Rafa doing out there?
I'm telling you right now, if Rafa was running the Kentucky Derby, I'd be betting on him today. Can't be more proud of the whole entire Silver Hair Racing team. Thanks to American Concord Flag Pole Company for helping us support Rafa. We're just going to hope for the best, as we always do, and hopefully we'll get that checkered this time.
Nice. Well, obviously, Laura Hull, Maurice Hull, they know how to win. So nice job out there. She's out here watching this, so that's really cool. We've got TRB here, but I'm going to try to come down and talk to the LaPaglias, because they're out there with Michael from LaPaglia Racing, last year's champion. They're watching him go up the hill. I'll wait till it gets a little bit quiet, but what's Michael saying on the radio? How's it going out there?
Everything's going good. Up and down a couple spots, but yeah, he's happy. He's a little soft on the brakes, but he thinks we just overheated the tires a little bit, so this will help cool things down.
Nice. I love it. We're getting some good information down here. I'm going to send it back up to you guys in the booth.
You know, it's funny, they were talking about the Kentucky Derby, which is later on this afternoon in Churchill Downs. They said this year, for the first time ever, every horse competing in this year's Kentucky Derby is a descendant of Secretariat.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? That's crazy.
Did not know that, though. I'm feeling underdressed now, like I should have had a derby
Right,
hat.
you didn't have your big hat on or a mint julep.
So we're going to start seeing some tire warming, because we should be getting ready to come back to green. Should renew this fight up front, especially. We saw some fireworks last time Skeen and Matos started next to each other. Maybe we'll see some fireworks again.
Watching Adrian Vostovsky at work, you can see inside the cockpit on the left side of the screen, and you can see all the data just in front of you.
There we go, so getting some tire warming now, trying to clean those tires off, get all that stuff off, because we did see out of the 20 cars, so some of that gravel being scattered around the track. If you pick that up, it does degrade the grip of these tires, so you're going to see some extra scrubbing because of that.
Yeah, and it can wreak havoc for those behind you as you scatter it all around the circuit, right?
Exactly. Now, once we do come down for this restart, really pay attention to Rafa, because remember, there's a restart zone here. You can see the cones on the wall. They define the restart zone. Rafa gets to jump anywhere inside those cones, and that's what causes the green flag to come out. So he's going to be looking in his mirror and trying to subtly play with the speed to give himself an advantage.
Let's see what he does here. There he goes. Green is waving, and we are underway. And he got about a car length, maybe half a car length of the gap.
Yep, that means he did his job. That's all you need. That's enough to defend yourself in the turn 2.
And you can see the nice entry he takes into Mission Foods turn number 2. And look at the battle between Annunziata and Cruz right below our drone. Thomas is going to fight off Brent for now as they close up on the backside of Tristan.
And you can see Brent's pulling him out of position just a little bit. Got him to even defend into 3. If you can start pulling the guy in front of you out of position, you can slowly make that thing work. Though I do think Cruz has been struggling with balance this weekend.
Yeah, he's dropped back away from Thomas pretty quickly, but I will tell you our drone pilot got maybe the best start of them all. He was right on him.
That thing really responds. Those electric motors sometimes come off a little quick.
Yeah, he got up to speed in a hurry. There goes Skeen out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That Guthrie's Garage Chevy Camaro up the hill.
It looks like we may have a look around 6th. I saw 2 people poking side by side. Here we
go.
go. Is it
That's
Vostovsky?
Vostovsky on the inside. Top of the corkscrew, and he's still to the outside as he gets to the inside now, going to Rainey, and he's going to have to fall back behind.
Really tough place to pull off a pass without pulling off of Zanardi and skipping the whole corkscrew.
Skeen, McKendry, Annunziata, Cruz, all chasing Rafa right now.
Here we go again, on board with Barry Bowes, our Pro-Am leader. Right in front of him, Sam Corey is also struggling since he was shuffled off earlier. See, really trying to put that power down. Sam Corey seems to be struggling with that power down. Seeing the sides of his car a lot more than one would want to see.
Yeah. The 90 has made its way back out. Or I guess it wasn't the 90, the 98, I should say. Steinacre.
So while we're riding on board too, Ross said, while you're riding on board next time, make sure you really pay attention to the shifter. Really neat. These aren't your street car H patterns. You have to be really forceful with it. Next time you go on board, we'll point that out.
You're going to be working through that gearbox right here, down through the gears, getting ready for the turn in, then quickly back up through them as you head into one of the faster sections of the track here.
And now you can see Annunziata's gotten far enough away from Cruz that he's able to shake him off and focus fully on putting pressure on the Tristan McKee. And we knew he was suffering in the dirty air at Sonoma, and this track isn't much better for that. Lots of fast corners together. Makes it really difficult to follow in these cars sometimes. Looks like Annunziata did get a decent exit, though, so should be fairly close to McKee when we get down to that Mission Foods turn 2.
And McKee in that 128, Tristan, that's one of those Scott Legacy Racing entries. You know, quite a few current NASCAR drivers have raced for Team SLR over the years. Sam Mayer, who's in Xfinity, Connor Mosak in the trucks, Carson Quapple in Xfinity, William Sawalich, who's in Xfinity, Sammy Smith in Xfinity, and Jack Wood in trucks all came through the SLR organization.
Exactly. You see a lot of these guys, that's where they start. They come out here, they learn how to turn right here in TA2. Really fascinating. I do think Annunziata's got a little more pace than McKee right now. Just really hard to find enough clear air to build that run. Remember, all these cars, it is a spec engine, so no one has a big horsepower advantage than each other. There's a few little differences. There's a couple engine suppliers, so you can play with a couple of little things. Believe it or not, like alternators are a big game, but motors should make about the same amount of power. Here we are on board Barry again.
A little over 500 horsepower.
Yeah, a little over 500 horsepower. That's where those engine suppliers make their little bit of differences. Is really cutting drag, finding lighter pulleys, making the alternator work more efficient, stuff like that, that the engine suppliers are allowed to play with a little bit. Makes it a competition amongst them too. And Annunziata's really got him under pressure, but just needs Tristan to make a mistake. Looks like maybe McKee has a touch more understeer. And Annunziata only seems to be getting issues when he's in that dirty air. When he falls back a little bit, he can get right to the back of McKee, but he can't quite stay there, especially through the fast stuff.
So Tristan in one of the Scott Legacy Racing machines, and then Annunziata in one of the many Nitro Motorsports Toyota Camrys to enter the competition this weekend. They bring an arsenal with them, don't they?
They do. They bring a lot of cars. They can really share a lot of data, go on a lot of different setup paths, which is really important when you have limited practice. And right there, I see one little difference in that Annunziata is willing to use a little more road, especially in 6 and coming up down into the corkscrew, using a little more road course experience coming from MX-5 and karts, where McKee comes from more of a traditional oval background.
He's certainly filling up the mirrors. Just hasn't been able to find a way around. Camaro in front of the Camry.
And it's so hard to do. Oh, okay, both lit up the tires there. Another thing you can see too is you can see the nose of the Nitro cars a little higher going down the straightaway than the Chevy of Tristan McKee. And that nose being a little higher, it's a setup choice. It makes the car put power down better, but it costs you straight speed. And you can see, even if he gets a little better run out of the last corner, McKee's just scooching away. It's not horsepower, it's how sealed they have that nose to the ground. It's a big drag.
And if they have a drag race to the checker, that's going to be advantage to Tristan.
Exactly, and it's a setup choice you can make to make these cars be able to pass. Now we're on board with Tom Sheheen. Did a great job there when he had his little spin and corkscrew, but great job rolling out of the way and keeping us green. Fighting for his recovery drive here. In fact, that was a guy who was probably really happy to get that yellow because he just had that spin. Now he's back in the fight again.
I'm hoping Tom Sheheen doesn't follow the track map at the top of the screen there that comes with the onboard service there, but that was Sonoma Raceway, not Laguna. There's a few more corners over there than here.
It's NorCal. Figured out it's the same
Yeah.
deal, right? We're all in Northern California. Everyone plunging down through that corkscrew.
Lone challenger in this series this weekend, Victor Zapla out of Agora Hills, California, the Cool Box Dodge Challenger right there.
It is a cool body looking.
Oh, yeah.
Got to give it that. Cool car for the cool box.
Makes for a great looking race car. Mission Foods, turn 2. Good look from the drone of the different lines through the corner, the double apex.
Everyone's fighting to put that power down.
Including Tim Lynn right there in the number 17.
And Sheheen's working his way on that car. Ooh, big moment there. A little aggressive with the throttle, kick that rear end out. He's trying to stay close, get close enough to make a move under braking with that car in front of him. As you can see, our drone's fast, but not quite TA2 fast.
No, that's pretty quick to be a TA2 level.
That's Clay Covery right in front of Sheheen, coming under a little bit of pressure. Sheheen using all that road, really trying to fill up those mirrors.
Yeah, you talk about this racetrack and the design. It wasn't planned out. It was pretty much they came out here with a bulldozer and just started moving things out of the way. And when they got to the top of the hill, they had run out of room. And it's like, well, where do we go now? And somebody said, well, let's just turn left here and go down the hill. And that's what they did, and that's how they came up with the corkscrew. Went down the hill to the left, to the right, and continued on their way. And it wasn't until after the track was actually done, when they drew up the plans finally, that's when they finally had the track actually drawn out. But it was already laid out by then.
All the best tracks are like that. VIR is like that too, from what I'm told. You can see Sheheen really putting putting pressure here on Clay.
He has really stepped up the attack, hasn't he?
Really working on it. Let's see if he can make a run at it here. Clay's a little offline, so there's a chance. Get a little bit of a toe. Don't pull out of it yet. Try to stay in there. Don't pull out yet. Now you can pop out. There you go.
Great, and timed that perfectly, didn't he?
Exactly. You need every second that toe to get close enough. Great job waiting until he popped the brake. Pop out, take the position, focus, and let's go get that next car.
That's veteran experience right there. And you can see him working that shift like you're talking about. You know, you really got to pull it and push it, don't you?
You really have to yank it. And what the veteran guys do is you preload it. So if you're going to go from third to fourth, you'll reach over for a second or so early, put some pressure against it, pulling back as if you're going to fourth, and then when you crack the throttle just a tiny little bit, only like 10% or so, it'll fall back into fourth super fast.
Here's a look at that pass again. Watch how he waited, and then he went for it, and the door was open. The air helped him out, and away he went.
And exactly what you need to do. Park it on that apex because the guy can't drive through you. You're there, so then you get a nice, good exit, and then you put your head down and run away and get the next car. And I think out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone off in two. Just barely rejoined. It's right in front of this battle. It looks like
see it.
It looks like Sheheen is charging on the only charger we have out here.
Tom Sheehan out of Bow, New Hampshire, that Vixen Cycle Company LTK Cope Ford Mustang. The Mike Cope Racing Stables. I guess the Mustang should be out of a stable, right?
Exactly, and they run right next to Cope. They're kind of like a little satellite team. I know Cope's driver coach is Thomas Merrill. He goes over there. Oh, and Sheheen dips some wheels off to the outside of 6. That's a really scary thing to do.
Lynn getting around Sheheen there.
Yeah, Sheheen gave himself a good scare at 6, and that's what happens when you have to lift to try to keep it on the road. Really can sacrifice a spot real easy.
And that's too bad because Sheheen had worked so hard to get that position, and then one little mistake, you give it up.
Yeah, one mistake in a crucial spot. Really easy to do. Turn 6 seems so easy, especially on a track map. But there's a big elevation change right at the apex that really upsets the car, and it can make you run out of room really quick.
You know, turn 6, it's funny. You come to this racetrack, everybody loves the corkscrew. Even if you can't figure out how to drive it right, and I don't know if you ever do, everybody loves the challenge of the corkscrew. But you will find many drivers who absolutely detest turn 6.
See, I love it. I actually don't like that we added pavement. I liked it when it was even narrower. I want it to be scary. Yeah. Make it mean. Make it scary.
It's very, very intimidating because you are going very fast up the hill, and of course that inside apex is blind, and you just got to turn it in and hope you're in the right spot and then run it out there. And boy, if you go too far out, hello Salinas, here you come.
And what's even hairier, in traffic, not only is there aero turbulence because if you're behind somebody, you can't see that corner at all when you're behind somebody. You're kind of driving by braille and hoping that they brake at about the right spot because you can't see that corner at all when you're behind someone.
I remember when the 500cc Grand Prix World Championship was coming here for a few years in a row. In the late 80s, Wayne Gardner, the great Australian champion, just hated that corner. Could never get comfortable there.
It's scary in a car. Can't imagine on a 500cc two-stroke bike. And here we go. Grobel is falling a little bit into the clutches of DaCosta. So Brody Grobel kind of competing for the West Coast, not competing for the national championship, so he has some room to play. Oh.
Lynn off through the dirt, taking the Alex Zanardi line.
Exactly. Not quite what you want to do with these cars. Doesn't treat the undertray too well. Back on board with our Pro-Am leader, Barry Bowes. Another one of those guys out of that SLR stable. Let's see, let's ride him with turn to 6 to be talking about it. Using all that road and no more. Good job getting it back over to the left like you need to. Straddling those curves for the braking zone. Down through the gears.
And all those spots where you see that green paint, that's where they've kind of added, as you were talking about, little extra pavement out there to give you a little bit more to play with.
Yeah, it's been a trend in racetracks. Each time we repave a place, we seem to not only add more curbing, but we add an extra 2 or 3 feet on the outside of the curbing, which us as racing drivers is just more racetrack. It's not curbing for us. We're going to use every bit of it you give us.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it right there at 11. Oh, is that big problem?
It's right here in front of us.
Just before the entrance to 1 there.
It looks like Sam Corey. We can see him out of the booth right here. And he's pulled over in a bit of a precarious spot.
Yep, that's the 70. We got a yellow out.
He is
Sam
fully...
Corey out of Cornelius, North Carolina, one of those Nitro Motorsports Camrys.
He is fully offline, but I don't think there's a good place to get him out of that car. So
no, I don't think so either.
If I'm anyone else, I'm extra pushing for a couple laps because we probably have a yellow coming.
Yeah.
So
looks like the Challenger's got some bodywork damage.
Yeah, when that 17 came by him in the corkscrew, it just barely clipped that front bodywork with that pass through. Well, I would say pass through the grass, the Zanardi one, but no more grass, just pavement up there. There we
There's
go.
Corey.
Get better angle, you can see. I'm not sure if they can get to him from that end of the wall and pull him forward. They may be able to stay green. I hope so. There's about 15 laps remaining here.
We haven't seen Matos. Oh, Is that McKee?
That's what I was thinking.
That sure looked like it. Tristan McKee slowing. Yeah.
Yep.
He's dropping.
Definitely McKee.
What a shame. Youngster's been doing a great job all day today. In podium position.
And an extra shame because he was here. This is his full season focus. He skipped a Cars Tour late model race to be here to grab some points today, and not going to pay off.
Let's see what happened to. Oh, he got with the Nunziata at the corkscrew. They got together. Nunziata and Cruz go by. And boy, everybody, that's what we were talking about, where Sheheen allowed the car to roll back.
Yeah, Sheheen did that veteran move, line the car roll back. It looks like McKee's back on track.
He's rolling here, heading toward pit out.
Points to maybe a puncture when he and Annunziata got together. I wish we had a different view. I don't want to cast blame on either of them from that view. But this is what happens when you have some hard chargers battling for podium positions. Sometimes you make some contact. Though this full course yellow will help some of the bleeding. And Barry Bowes.
Barry Bowes, yeah.
Never good when they're pulling the hood up on these things.
Axio Data, Scott Legacy Racing, M1 Chevrolet Camaro.
I would expect this to be a quick yellow because I think they're just there to pick up that 70. So who does that promote to the Pro-Am leader with Barry Bowes? Does that put Audric to the lead? I think it does for a Pro-Am. And that also makes the Pro-Am a great battle because now the new 1 and 2 for Pro-Am, Jared Audric and Victor Sapla, are next to each other on track. So we should have a good little battle for the Pro-Am win too now. The other question, and we will see in a moment as they get ready to come by our booth, I want to see the right front corner of Annunziata's car. If it damaged Tristan McKee's car, there's a good chance he has damage himself.
Yeah, and he's in a podium position. And he was looking to make up points from last week.
Exactly, so until we see it, there we go, good view of him. Actually, it looks reasonably good condition, maybe just a few scratches.
Of course, the Nunziata, as we showed you earlier, won the first 2 races of the season, left round 2 at Road Atlanta, headed to the West Coast with a good points lead, and then he gets to Sonoma, and it turns upside down on him as he suffers a mechanical issue there and had a rough points day.
And I have it officially here that Barry Bowes is retired, a suspension problem it looks like. So that's a shame for who was our Pro-Am leader, now going to make that Pro-Am series a fight. So here we go, a little reprieve in the action here. Everyone's going to reset, and we're going to get a bit of a sprint for the finish.
Well, this is the closest they've gotten to Matos since this thing went to the initial green, because he has just checked out on the field, hasn't he?
He really has. Silver Hair guys definitely showed up with a great setup for Laguna, kind of taking revenge on their Sonoma. And they had a championship weekend in Sonoma. And what I mean by that is they definitely didn't have the fastest car. They weren't the fastest, but they maximized their bad day, and their bad day was still a podium. So it's really hard to overcome that debt if you have a bad day that's a last, or something that Annunziata had where you have a mechanical failure. So this is shaping up to be a big championship West Coast swing for Matos.
Yeah, the biggest hiccup he's had this year was round 1, where he got put into the tires at Sunset after getting together with Skeen early on in the race. Let's go check in with Ben. What's going on down on pit road, Ben?
But tell us what happened out there.
Yeah, so I got notified that there was an incident on the far side of the carousel. As I was coming up, then they told me it was clear, so I went for it. And I guess maybe a little more happened right over crest of the top. unfortunately, my teammate's car was sideways right in front of me, and I went for the gravel to go around the front of him. He went for the gravel to try and get out of the way of the other cars, and we found each other. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. My throttle got stuck wide open, and so I shut it down, and I was able to get the throttle going again and get it off the track and get out of the way, so we didn't have to have a full course caution for me, but it ends my day.
That stinks. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, he was just sideways at your blind spot of the corkscrew, and you don't know it until you've gone over it that there's about a 2-second gap where you can't see in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw Tristan about half a second before I hit him. And like I said, there was enough room for me to go through the gravel. Unfortunately, he wanted to get out of the way of cars like me, also went for the gravel at the same time. And yeah, that was it.
I'm sorry, man. Well, the ICO Data car coming in looking sad, and 2 teammates, Tristan McKee and Barry Bowes, but Barry had nowhere to go. That's just that's how it ends up sometimes in road racing. Back up to you, gentlemen.
Oh, that's a shame. This is what he's talking about here.
Oh.
And that's where he got him.
Yep, a little bit of a learning moment there for Tristan. You really want to keep that car frozen and still until you have it running and going. Again, kind of new to road racing for him. Big oval background where when it's a yellow, everything's frozen. So a little bit of a learning moment. Really fast driver. Keep developing and learning. Unfortunately, that'll hurt his points day and hurt his teammate too.
Well, I mean, it's a natural reaction, right? You know it's blind. You know they're all coming. You're trying to get out of the way. And sometimes it's better to just, like you said, stay there instead of rolling into the way.
But here we go. We'll see if Rafa can make another restart.
Had a great restart the last time. Got him by a car length and a half as they got to the flag stand. Let's see what he can do this time. He's on the gas a little bit earlier this time. Green is out. And he's got another good start.
He did, though. I think Skeen held on a tiny bit better this time. We'll see if it's enough.
Skeen is right there.
Skeen gets to him. Skeen gave him the
Annunziata
bumper.
On the inside gets into Skeen. Skeen actually closes up on Matos. They touch.
They're giving
again as they get to 3, more contact.
And I think we're going to see more bumpers. We get into 4. Skeen gets under him.
Matos tries to take the line away. Matos holding that inside, but Skeen's going to have a good run to the outside of 4 here, and the drag race is on to 5.
And who's Annunziata going to push? Or is he going to try to take it 3
himself.
wide?
3 wide.
Oh, that's going to end bad.
Into Skeen and takes Matos with him. Into the gravel goes Skeen. Big belch of flame as that one tries to fire back up. And guess what? Brent Cruz, new leader here at Laguna. And is that Annunziata going off? Yep. Thomas off into the gravel at the top of 6. Boy, that went from bad to worse in a hurry.
It did. Thomas, I mean, we did see his little, you saw his little preview at the race last time. He said he's a bit of a kamikaze, a bit aggressive, and we saw maybe a little too much of that come out. If I were him, I probably would have pushed Skeen by Matos and then tried to attack him later. Easy to say on this side of the wall, though, because sometimes you only have that one chance. These cars are hard to drive in dirty air.
Well, and if you're feeling like you got all the momentum and that door cracks open, right?
Yep. Sometimes you just got to set your foot in it. Really hard to judge it from this side, but definitely didn't pay off. 3 wide's really hard to do with these TA2 cars.
Especially at turn 5. There's just not that much room there. Here's a look at it again. Watch this. As you come out of 4, you see Skeen closing right up on Matos, and Thomas sees the door crack open, and then he knew all of a sudden, nope, not going to make it, and then it was too late.
Yeah, he knew just a beat too late, and that's just a little bit of experience, a little bit of youthful exuberance, because you have to remember, Skeen and Matos, they're no slouches. They're braking at the last second to try to pass each other. You're not going to be able to throw it in from that far back on them.
And the caution is out because Mike is planted literally right at the exit of the line at turn 5.
And
he's not driving out of there.
And that's unfortunately ending his terrible West Coast trip. This time, both times through no fault of his own, but especially today and while battling for the lead today. Sorry, Mike. You did a great job today, buddy.
He really was driving well. Had a good run going.
And again, believe it or not, sometimes Matos is amazing like this. Even though he got knocked off a bunch of spots, nobody in front of him's in the points. And we're going to go down to Ben Sissel with some more words from Annunziata here.
Now just remember, in Trans Am, you don't want to have to be changing tires, but they came in, I think with some contact, you can see down here in the bottom right front, with a puncture on these Pirelli P0s, and they're trying to check out the car, make sure that he's okay, because Thomas Annunziata, one of our points leaders, and you can see he came in obviously with a flat tire. They're talking to the drivers right now, and they're not sure if they can get him going. They're going to try to push start him. So he's going to try to do a bump start. And Josh Hurley, you can explain to everybody how we do this as I send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Well, they got it going, Josh. And we'll make sure he gets a new SpeedTour 1 sticker on there. Don't worry about that, Josh. I know you were concerned about that. We'll get that handled. We're coming back for more what has been an exciting race with the Q3 Architecture TA2 series at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Yes. Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.
Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance Brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Josh, did you get a chance to get out and around the Monterey Bay Peninsula while you were here?
Sadly, not this time, though. Usually I do. There's some amazing food places, beautiful area. If you haven't been to the aquarium, you got to check it out. Fisherman's Wharf. It's an incredible part of the country.
Yeah, I've had my beautiful daughter Olivia out here with me all week, and we came into town early and had a lot of fun getting around the area. Checked out the aquarium and 17-mile drive and all the different hot spots, Mission Ranch. A lot of good eats around here, too.
There's some incredible food, some incredible coffee. Had some this morning. One of my favorite coffee shops on my way in. Just an incredible place.
Well, I think we're going to have another lap or so because as we were halfway joking, Sheheen really buried that thing. It's planted over there like one of the giant cypress trees on 17-mile drive. The roots in that car are deep in the soil right now.
Really unfortunate, and again, somehow this plays into Matos' hands. Maybe not for the race today, but the people closest to him in the points are now even further back from him than they were.
Well, Rafa's what, 5th?
Yeah, so this plays into his hands, and this actually also really helps our 4th and 5th place standers in the running. We have Costa, who's 4th in the points, and Lastowski's 5th in points, are now in podium position. So great day for them. Probably not as much of a threat towards Matos' championship, though. So great day for those three, but bad day for Annunziata.
And how about Cruz? Cruz struggled in the TA championship at the beginning of the year, going 0 for 2 there. Now in Q3 Architecture TA2, he might be a back-to-back winner. on the West Coast.
I think the key word there is might. We still have some racing to do, and we've noticed that Cruz is struggling for balance for some reason here this weekend.
Is Cruz's car maybe set up better for a longer run than a shorter run, do you think?
I don't even think that. He's just, every time I've looked at the car, it's coming out of the corners awkwardly. I haven't gotten a good chance to tell if it's understeery or oversteery, but all the corner exits have been awkward. He's been doing a great job adjusting it. I just feel like they missed the setup for him a little bit. And now, DaCosta, another young gun who has a chance to win today, we may see some fireworks just like we saw out of Annunziata. So Cruz is going to have a worrying restart.
When you say it comes out looking awkward, what exactly are you seeing? Is it the angle of the car? What is it?
Exactly. It's been a few times where the nose hasn't been pointed in the right direction. He's also having to use more track than you want to. If you watch, especially in raining curve, you'll see he's using more road than anyone else. He's farther over the curb and still not pointed down the next straightaway. You even see it out of turn 2, though he's been having really good restarts. So I think the car's okay on cool tires, but the balance isn't quite there once everything comes up to normal temperature. You also tend to know if Brent Cruz isn't the fastest 3 drivers, that car's probably not right in this series.
Ben, you've been pretty busy down there on pit lane today. What's going on now?
Yeah, I'm down here with Mike Skeen's team, with Jim Guthrie, the Guthrie's Garage team, and we saw Mike Skeen come in. He was running second, but then I hear that he might have gotten bumped. What's happening out there?
Well, we were going too wide into a corner, getting ready to pass Rafa, and then the 90 car decided to join in the mix and use the driver's doors as the brakes on our car, and that took out not only us, but it knocked Rafa back in the field as well.
So Rafa and Skeen are 2 veterans, 2 former champions, Rafa and Mike Skeen. That's unfortunate, but there might still be enough time to make up some places and get up through there, because Mike Skeen is pretty unstoppable in a TA2 car. Back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we got a good look at that, Ben, as it unfolded. I'm sure Mike's going to be a little frustrated about that. Maybe want to have a word with Thomas after.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's just a learning experience from Thomas of just getting a little greedy when you saw the chance was there. I totally understand. He's here to make a name for himself, and that's part of being young, is learning and making those mistakes.
Well, and there was a door cracked open there. You can see why Thomas might have thought, I can make that happen. You know, what was it the great Ayrton Senna said to Jackie Stewart that one time? Stewart, as you know, when a driver sees the door open and he doesn't go for it no more, you're no longer a racer, right? Thomas was trying to be a racer.
Exactly. I understand why he made it. I won't call it a stupid move, just maybe a little optimistic, because 3 wide into there, it's not going to work out unless you have a little more momentum. If that straightaway was another 100 yards,
he'd have had it.
He'd had it.
Well, and to your point from earlier, in this category, you've got to pounce anytime there's a crack like that, because it is so difficult to make a pass stick in this series.
Exactly. And it's not that there was nothing he could have done. I think he could have pushed Skeen through and still come +1 and then go for the fight on Skeen. But we're going to see more of a fight coming to a restart with 3 minutes remaining.
Well, we're not done swapping paint yet. You get that feeling, don't you?
Exactly, especially only 3 minutes and Cruz's first restart lead.
Should be good for about 2 to 3 laps. Here's the green. We're racing. Cruz out front.
And DaCosta is there.
DaCosta right after him as they head up over the hill. Julian DaCosta out of Mayaca City, Florida. Right on the tail of Cruz as they head down into Mission Foods, turn number 2. And through the double apex.
And it looks like Matos may get one of those spots back.
Yeah, he's trying the outside. He'll have the inside going to 3. He dives in deep, and he's going to force that issue there, and he's going to come out with the position. Great move by Boca Raton, Florida's Rafa Matos.
And he's going to be setting sail. He's going to try to get to Latsowski. He wants to be on this podium.
Adrian Vostovsky in that pretty white and red number 3 right there, just in front of Rafa Matos.
And he has a run. Unfortunately, not much you can do with it in the 6. He was all over the back of DaCosta. He's still all over him.
Look at Adrian. Man, he ran it deep up into 6.
And Matos all over both of them.
Yeah.
Here goes Adrian.
Here goes Adrian to the inside. That's going to be real deep. He's going to get Cruz around. And we are still wrecking cars as we see DaCosta come to the inside of Matos, who had come past him. and cruises all the way up against the tires. Look at how far back shuffled went the 30 car of DaCosta. He lost 4 or 5 positions, and Matos all the way back up to second. And if somehow we stay green, he might have a shot at the win here on Adrian before this is done. LaPaglia gets hit, and he almost hits the wall. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
And Adrian,
cinch those belts tight, folks. This is going to be a wild last lap.
And Adrian's smoking the right front, so both Adrian and Matos with some damage here.
Matos, you can see the hood pushed up on the 57 Silverhair Racing entry. You can see the right front corner damage to the 3 of Vostovsky, and they're on their final lap through the infield. Here we go, coming over to turn number 4. Where will Rafa make his attempted pass? Will he just try to close in and do it at 11? Summit Racing Equipment turn 11, you think?
I mean, I think right now it's going to be who has the least damage. If any of them, one of them has a puncture or something like that, but if Rafa's going to make a move, it's going to be top of corkscrews, my bet, because I think Witowski's car isn't going to turn left very well with that damage.
All right, let's see what happens. Good run up through Rahal is going to be important for Rafa. He's closing. Here he comes. Adrian Vostovsky's mirrors are full. Rafa looking to the inside, going to the corkscrew. He's right alongside and easily passes him and leads him down through 8A.
Yep, that was bound to happen with that damage. So Matos got that spot back, and we're going to see Grobel, our Western leader, on the overall podium. Brody Goebel trying to get second from Lutzowski. That you might see into turn 11.
Here we go, coming down Summit Racing Equipment, turn 11. Vostovsky in second, can't make anything happen there. Rafa Matos, who dominated this race, leads him off of the final corner to the checkered flag and wins it here at Laguna in our Cube 3 Architecture TA2 race. An outstanding show. Oh, the 47 around, and we got another one to the inside over here. We're still wrecking cars up here.
I mean, that is one of the great things with these cars. You can bump and rub, and, you know, this is stock cars turning on road courses, too. So there's some contact a little bit here and there. And there's Carroll, unfortunately, crashing
Tim
right
Carroll with some damage to the CRD back 46.
Right before start finish. And while we're here, let's make sure we also give a call out to Brody Goebel on the overall podium, winning the Western class. Jared Odrick winning our Pro-Am class as well, having a great points day, closing some gap to Barry Bowes.
Congratulations to Silverhair Racing. Laura Maurice had a great day today, getting Rafa to the checkers.
They did. What a crazy day for Matos. Dominated most of the day.
I mean, he absolutely dominated the first 2/3 of this race.
And then got into the fights on the restarts, which is what happens with stock car racing. Skeen making a great move
but no doing
with
on
him.
his own. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly, for all of it. And then managed to come back with a damaged car after getting hit, kept his cool, and was able to retake the win on the track with a great move into the corkscrew.
Well, that was an outstanding TA2 race. It had all kinds of plot twists to it, didn't it?
It is. So I sure wish I was in the area in Parc Fermé where all these cars are going to pull, because I think there's going to be some interesting words said to each other after that last couple restarts.
Yeah, there probably is.
And then Matos getting a little bit of that championship luck. Needed to win every championship. A lot of nose damage. I don't see any water. Probably didn't get the radiator. So.
Yeah. And you know what? Credit to Adrian Vostovsky, too. He drove a good race. He was in the thick of this thing all day long, right in or just outside the top 5 the entire race. And then he took advantage of opportunities late, and he's got himself solidly up on the podium here today.
Yeah, always great to see him get a podium. Great driver. Works really hard at developing his craft. Had a great little run, maybe a little bit of aggressive in that at corkscrew, but again, that's what you see with these cars. They brake so well now, you have to be a bit aggressive to make a pass.
You got to know it's coming, right?
Exactly. And actually, that's where I want to highlight Mike Skeen. You saw Mike Skeen and Rafa Matos being aggressive, but not hitting each other. And I think we're going to send it down to Ben Sissel down near Victory Lane.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an unbelievable winner's circle because the seasoned veteran Rafa Matos, the most winning driver in TA2, came back from what should have been an 8th place finish to finish first.
Adrian Lostowski just got his first ever podium in TA2. So this should be good. You're taped shut, Rafa. Nick Middleton from Cube 3 is helping Rafa get out of the car. You're rolling backwards a little bit. So let's make sure we don't damage any more cars. Big celebration for Rafa. Unbelievable. You can see Maurice Hull coming over here. Laura Hull coming over here. That was unbelievable. You can see the emotion, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is all about. The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. They're so excited. Jeff Holly's pulling up. Rafa, take off your helmet. We want to talk to you. But unbelievable. Then we've got Brody Goebel getting out of the car over here. Look at that big hug from Holly. Make sure, hey, that car's rolling backwards. So Rafa Matos, the class of the field for most of that race. Then he got pushed off, no fault of his own, fell back to 5th. And honestly, Rafa, I thought, well, you're going to, you might be pretty happy with a 5th place finish after that. And then you just slowly, methodically work your way through. Unbelievable. That has to feel good.
Well, hats off to the silver hair boys giving me a car that it was a dominating car today. I was pretty confident after I pulled away in both restarts, but the last one I got moved out of the way and we were going side by side to 5, and I guess Annunziata decided to do 3 wide, and that obviously didn't work. Yeah, I just got tired of getting hit by other people, and I decided to take care of myself. And, hats off to the silver hair boys, Concord American Flag Pole Company. We're looking for this win for some time, and just a tough day. The TA2 class is definitely the most competitive series in the States, and just a dream come true to win for my guy, Chris Dyson. He's about to win his race here also. I'm just super happy, super pumped.
Nice job, Rafa Matos, silver hair, Concord American Flagpole Company. Unbelievable. Where is Brody Goebel? Because what a race from Brody. Here we come over here. Brody, first place, Western. But, man, you were mixing it up there up front, and your car comes in. That hurts a little bit, but compared to the other cars, this looks pretty good. How was your race?
Yeah, it was awesome. We're battling up there with the national guys. I finished 3rd overall, which is kind of our race. We're trying to be there for the end. Definitely didn't have the long run pace. Tires were starting to go off a little bit, so I was just trying to cool down as much as I could and all the caution. Had a really good battle. It was awesome to see my West Coast kind of guys up there with us. I think we finished 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, they see
and I got into it with my good buddy Michael Lapaglia. That's a little bit of our damage on the car. Woloskowski got into me down into turn 2 and on one of the other restarts, but it was pretty hectic out there. But it was an awesome race. So stoked to be holding down for the privateers and the national guys and West Coast guys and having us out here. It's awesome.
Nice. Well, Brody, nice job. But honestly, I hate to play favorites, but I've been saying this all year, that Adrian Lostowski was going to get on the podium this year. His first time ever. He had the lead for about a lap. Unbelievable. But, man, here he comes getting out. I think he got lost on the way here. Adrian, I've been saying it all year, dude. I'm so proud of you. That was unbelievable. Your team was so excited. This is the first time to be on the podium in TA2. I said it's going to happen this season. It happens early in the season. I know you wanted that win, but man, what, not only a great podium finish for you, but a 1-2 for Howe as well. That's got to feel good. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, it was a little bit crazy. We had a little bit of contact with 70 earlier, Brent Cruz and with the 10. Just unfortunate. We're really strong in all the brake zones, so tried getting around the second place car there and had contact with the 70, with the 10. And don't feel good about that, but we're so happy. The team did really well. How Racing, CMI is just a company that does everything perfect, try to make their equipment perfect, their sinks perfect, and I think they gave us a perfect car this weekend to do well.
Nice. Well, Adrian, I think you owe a lot of high fives to the team here, Fast Auto Racing. So excited to have Adrian here on the podium. I'm going to send it back up to you guys because we have a huge celebration to do here with the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series.
Yeah, I saw Adam Andretti over there to congratulate Adrian as well. A lot of folks handing out hugs and high fives here to a variety of drivers. It was a wild last lap. Look at this. Last couple laps here, it just went nuts. Cruz getting spun off at the corkscrew. And then Adrian sees Rafa come pushing his way past take the lead away just a couple of corners from the finish. And then as we were coming to the flag, they were still crashing. Coming out of 11, 2 more cars involved. And they finally put an end to the misery, if you will, as they crossed the line with Rafa taking the win. Wow, that was a wild one. We're going to have a lot more for you from here at Laguna Seca. Stay with us on Speed Sport 1 as we unravel all the craziness that was Cube 3 architecture TA2.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the VBox HD2 system.
There's Boris said.
One of the ways you overtake here at Sebring is really good in the braking zone, like this one right here.
Both go around. There's the green. We are back and at it. Watch this. Oh, Lagarde, Miller, Lagarde.
Breath yet?
You know, I'm actually a little jealous of being in that one. That race looked fun to be in.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on the right sides of things. That was either fun or frustrating.
There's going to be
depending
some
on who you
hurt
are.
feelings after this one, isn't there?
That's some good old stock car racing here at Laguna Seca.
It might be good that we got a week or two off to let everybody calm the nerves down before we crawl back behind the wheel again, right?
Exactly. But that's always what you want to see, is some beat-up stock cars battling it out to the checkered flag. That's what we're here for. That's what the fans want to see. That's some racing.
Well, checkered flag is waved in front of Rafa. That means it's time for the podium. Ben Sissel, take it away.
One thing I ask, though, don't stand in front of my board because then I'll go blind. All right, come on now. Mission Foods, Laguna Seca Speed Tour. Let's hear it. How about that? The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. That was a ton of fun out there. We've had some firsts that we're going to celebrate here. We're going to start out actually in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series National. In third place, third generation racer, first time on the TA2 podium. I'm looking at his dad right there, a TA2 champion. Let's hear it. Gian Buffamonte. From Chicago, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen, first of many professional podiums for Gian Buffamonte. Man, nice job. I'm proud of you. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, in second place, he's been in the Trans Am Series for about 5-6 years. He was runner-up in SGT. He's come into TA2. I told him beginning of the season he's going to get on the podium this season. I said it live on TV, and he has done it. Ladies and gentlemen, second place, Fast Auto. Let's hear it. Adrian Lostovsky. So we've got Chicago. We've got New York right here. Nick Middleton, CEO, owner of Cube 3, to give out the trophies. How about that? And then, ladies and gentlemen, the most winning racer in TA2,
driving with silver hair. The Concord American Flagpole Company was first, got knocked back to 5th, made it back to 1st. Let's hear it for Rafa Matos. Last year's Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series champion. Man, unbelievable. Well, Gian Buffamonte up here on the podium. You've got the most winning driver in TA2 history with you. Your dad's a TA2 champ. I feel like that's in your future. How was your race out there?
Race was awesome. I mean, we just got through everything, and it was just awesome. Got through all the cautions, made our way through, and ended up 3rd somehow. So thank you so much to the Race Nitro crew. They did a phenomenal job. Really, really great car at the end, and thank you.
Nice. How about that? Come on now, get loud. Gian Buffamonte from the Chicago area, then coming over here, New York, Adrian Lostowski. Buddy, I am so proud of you. I know this has been a long time coming. Take the mic. Tell us about your race.
We had a pretty solid race up to the end there. Had a little contact there with the number 10 car at the end. Sorry, I feel bad for them. The Howe chassis did a really good job. Howe Racing, they built great cars. The car handled great. My team, CMI, Billy, and the team, they did a great job. Thank you so much. Really did a really great car. Made a really fast car for this weekend. Thank you guys so much.
How about that? Adrian Lostowski. And to another Howe chassis, Rafa Matos with silver hair, Concord American Flagpole Company. You got to tell us about this pin right here too, Rafa. Tell us about your race.
Well, a great day, obviously, for the silver hair team. I think we've done a fantastic job making sure the car was really quick in qualifying in the race. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to have a clean race, but I got moved out of the way in that last restart and fall back to 5th place. And had to work really hard to regain those positions. It kind of fell on our lap at the end. I had to pass a few cars, but the car was so strong that, enabled me to do that. And just super proud of the Concord American Flagpole car, silver hair boys prepping this car, making sure the car was in a very, very, very fast state. And this should put us in a good position for the championship. And hopefully we'll keep plugging away, and this will be our year. Thank you.
Nice. How about that, Rafa Matos? All right, hold up those trophies. Let's hear it. Gian Buffamonte, Adrian Lostowski, Rafa Matos. Who wants a Cube 3 stress cube? Come on now, be loud. Dan Fitz, come on now, you want one. Here we go. LaPaglia, maybe. Oh, it's going to die on me. Oh, but you hit the team. There we go. Let me get out of the way. So this is the cool box. We have $500 to the winner, $250 to Adrian. Gian Buffamonte, $150 to Cool Box. Iceless cooling driver systems. Now we have the Cube 3 hats. Kevin, sorry. Yeah, and then feel free. Wait, don't throw it yet, Rafa. We got to get you to hold it first. How about a big round of applause for Cube 3, for Nick Middleton, his whole team, for sponsoring this series. Unbelievable. Let's hear it. Gian Buffamonte, Adrian Lostowski, Rafa Matos. All right, now you can throw them. And you can throw the hats if you want. There we go. Oh, Paula, watch out. There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, and look at that. Very nice. Love it. All right, come on. Mission Foods, Laguna Seca SpeedTour. Let's get loud. Gian Buffamonte, first podium. Adrian Lostowski, first podium. And our most winning driver ever, Rafa Matos. Three different teams up here. Come on up, Michelle. Gian is not old enough for real champagne, so Gian just brought a knife to a gunfight. Come on now, let's get loud, Laguna Seca. Let's see what they do here. Gian Buffamonte, Adrian Lostowski, Rafa Matos. Awesome. All right, but keep it up, crowd. Keep up the energy. Nice job.
Tony Buffamonte, proud of you guys. Nice job, man. All right, we're going to go to Western. Excuse me. Whoa, somebody got injured. There we go. All right, I need you to move over just a little bit if you don't mind. In third place, Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series Western. He was last year's Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Western Series champion. Let's hear it from Michael LaPaglia, Papini's Garage. Hey, and a good day for Hal Racing down here, too. How about that? In second place in the Western, let's hear it. The number 80 in that plain white number 80. Let's hear it for Kyle Kelly. Where's Kyle? Kyle Kelly back on the podium with us. And what I think might be the best sounding TA2 car. It looks a little plain, team, but it sounds great. And I'm getting heckled over here. In first place, Western, our champion just 2 years ago. Let's hear it for Brody Goebel, ladies and gentlemen. Brody Goebel with Brown Brothers Racing, all the way from the Vancouver, Canada area with Nick Middleton. So, Nick, you joined us a few times last year with the Western. You're always with us with the National, but thank you so much for your partnership and sponsorship. And how was the race for you?
Well, the race was one of the best races I've seen in a long time. Very exciting. But first of all, thank you for all the fans coming out here today to Laguna in a cold day, and all the crews and all the drivers, and congratulations to everybody that made this happen today. So we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate it.
Nice. How about that? Nick Middleton. All right, LaPaglia back up on the podium. The Western Championship. How was your race?
It was wild. I mean, everyone saw the carnage out there and the good racing, too. We had a lot of green flag laps, which I was super happy with. But I just tried to mind my own business and just try to keep a clean nose out there.
In racing, every second counts. Communication isn't just important, it's everything. Established in 1996 in Daytona Beach, Florida, SpeedCom Communications was born from a passion for racing and a vision to revolutionize motorsports communication. Trusted by competitors across the world.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
How good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds. The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the VBox HD2 system.
Our drone is flying high over the paddock, and what a Cube 3 Architecture TA2 race we had. Tons of contact and rooting and gouging out on the racetrack from beginning to end as this one unfolded. Rafa Matos had the lead early and held onto it for the first 2/3 of the race. But right here where Annunziata made the dive bomb attempt, Sheheen and Matos both get shuffled back, and then Cruz gets turned around by Vostovsky as they were racing into the corkscrew. And then Rafa comes back through the field, gets around Adrian Vostovsky, and goes on to win the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 race here at Laguna Seca. Well, for Ben Sissel and Josh Hurley, I'm Ralph Sheheen. So long from Laguna Seca.